2025 year.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Because the 2024 year, you were still under, who was your supervisor then? It was not Paul Hayes and it was not people in the TMPD.
Yes.
It was the city manager.
Yes.
So this is not helpful for that purpose.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
My supervisor, okay. My working relationship with Commissioner Revo Spies since his arrival at the TMPD. Mr. Revo Spies was appointed as a Deputy Chief of Police Asset and Protection Services on the 1st of March 2025. I have attached the employment advertisement which led to his appointment, marked STP 5. I noted that the employment functions of Mr. Spies, as reflected on the employment advertisement, are the same as my employment responsibilities. There is no material difference from my employment functions and his employment responsibilities. Mr. Spies then introduced himself.
Is that correct, though? Not that it's an important issue, but to the extent that you are putting it out there and you're placing it on a record, maybe it does need some clarification. I'm looking at page 26, which is the advert, and under primary functions, right at the bottom, it sets out what he's supposed to do. You see where I'm looking?
Page 26.
Page 26 of that same bundle. It's the advert itself that you have attached. You've attached the advert as TP5. The same file that has your statement.
Okay.
If you look at page 26, right at the bottom, you have primary functions, and so it sets out the functions of that position. And if you consider that with the earlier document, which is your functions and responsibilities, at page 6, if you go to page 6, keep page 26 open, and then go to page 6, I don't see that it's the same primary functions. Unless they're written differently, but mean the same thing. They are.
Yes,
They're not the same on the face of it.
I agree with the Commissioner.
Okay.
I think a mistake here was made with regard to the actual advert that called upon Mr. Spies, Revo Spies' appointment. So here I attached Group Head, City Strategic Organizational Performance. I should have attached Deputy Chief of Police. So as part of supplementary, I will rectify it.
Okay. All right. But that's fine. I think you can do that as part of the supplementary, but can we at least agree that on what is before us, what you have said in that paragraph in your statement, that the functions are the same, not according to the advert that you were relying on. It's an incorrect advert according to you.
Yes, no, I agree. I will rectify it.
Thank you.
What's this advert for then, the one you've attached at page 25?
This advert, I think the reason why I made a mistake, this position was advertised with Commissioner Revo Spies' advert and others. So I think...
That's not answering my question. What is this advert for? Your TP5 at page 25, what is it for?
This is for Internal External Forum. This is for the position of Group Head, City Strategic Organizational Performance. I mean the one that is attached here, which is not about advert
the
for
Deputy
the
Chief.
Yes.
For the APSS.
Exactly.
All right. Please continue reading your statement.
Okay.
You on paragraph 31?
Yes. Mr. Revo Spies then introduced himself to me and my work team as my supervisor on the 5th of March 2025. It was after lecturing us about his experience, including arresting and dismissing corrupt police officials. He made a mention of his involvement in the closing of one of the police stations in Soweto back then, where police officers were alleged to be involved. So he gave me that. He was actually introducing himself as such. And due to, okay, he went further to inform us that he has got a valuable experience in the policing field. He has been with law enforcement for almost 40 years. He served in various capacities, from Old Pretoria to Old Benoni traffic, until there were amalgamations. He became part of the new Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. That he has been a deputy chief of police in Ekurhuleni. So he was giving us his background, and he was giving us his, what you call, due to a complaint by Mr.
Did you read the last sentence of 31? Maybe you did.
Mr. Spies subsequently reported, misconduct allegations against me in June 2025. This is what has led to me.
And that's why I was saying to you, it was misconduct in June 2025.
Yes.
Commissioner.
Due to a complaint by Mr. Spies regarding the alleged misconduct, I was then suspended in July 2025 pending outcome of the disciplinary hearing process instituted against myself. Mr. Spies is the main witness on the same reported allegations in which I was charged. Our working relationship is therefore not good. In essence, I feel like his aim is to ensure that my employment with the city is terminated. I'm suspicious that Mr. Spies was appointed through a corrupt and irregular recruitment process through the following reasons. I've noted a complaint regarding the same issue recently submitted at the Public Protector's Office by an anonymous complaint. His qualifications were questioned. His employment position was advertised despite not being approved on TMPD employment structure, a conduct which is not in compliance with MFMA. I am suspicious that he is not registered.
Sorry. Can you explain what you mean by lack of approval on the TMPD employment structure?
Evidence is there to the effect that Mr. Revo Spies was appointed on the 1st of March 2025 to the position of Deputy Chief, Asset Protection and Security Services. At that point, the structure, the TMPD structure, was not accommodating that position. Instead, the TMPD structure was having the position of Divisional Head, Asset Protection Services.
What's the difference?
The difference is Divisional Head, Asset Protection Services is almost a civilian position as opposed to police rank position. And I'm saying this because, Commissioner, the security management function in terms of the law and the national policy are not functions of the Metro Police Department by law. The Metro Police Department functions in terms of the law. They are as follows: to ensure that they enforce road traffic policy, they do bylaw enforcement, and they do crime prevention through environmental design. Issue of protection and or protective security services by law, they are security functions, and these functions are regulated in terms of the law, which is the Private Security Industry Regulations Act. The Act in Section 20 prescribes, amongst others, if a man or woman is not registered as a security practitioner, that man or woman or organization, in terms of the law, cannot perform.
But I think that's something else. That's something else. It does not go to the question of the approval of a structure.
Yes.
And that's something else which you've just touched on now.
Okay.
You do deal with in your statement, and I'm sure you're close to coming to it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something else.
Okay. Yes, thank
My issue is what you say was lack of approval
Yes.
in the structure.
Yes.
Let me tell you the difficulty that I have with that statement. My understanding of the testimony throughout was that somebody who is within the police department of the city of Tshwane was acting in this position even before Mr. or rather Commissioner Spies was appointed. Am I correct?
You are.
And that was Commissioner Paul Hayes. Am I correct?
You are.
So are you saying throughout this was wrong? Or perhaps let me ask a different question. Surely, from the fact that someone was acting in this position, that must mean it was in the structure, not so? In what position would Commissioner Paul Hayes have been acting if the position was not in the structure?
Okay.
He was acting in a non-existing position. That's what you say.
No. Commissioner, in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
No, let's not take it back, please.
Okay.
Please. Was Commissioner Paul Hayes acting in a non-existent position?
No, he was not acting in a non-existent position.
So the position was existing, obviously. That's the answer. So now why does it suddenly become a problem when Commissioner Spies is appointed to that position?
Commissioner Police acted in the position of the divisional head, right, asset protection services. This is the position that was filled some time back but became vacant, and yes.
Is that not a position Commissioner Spies was appointed to?
No, the position in terms of the structure that Commissioner Spies was appointed, it says Deputy Chief of Police, right, Asset Protection and Security Services.
That's still the APSS that you said Commissioner Paul Hayes was acting in, not so?
It's so.
You just said so.
The issue of the structure, let me clarify, Commissioner, the issue of the structure with respect. The issue of the structure comes into the picture. When Commissioner Spies was appointed on the 1st of March 2025, right, to show that the structure was not accommodating that position, there is a structure that was approved on the 4th of June, right, 3 months down the line after he was appointed. And from where I am sitting, right, I'm trying to say to the Commissioner, this structure that was approved on the 4th of June 2025 was solely to accommodate Commissioner Revo Spies, because if it so happened that there is no June approval of the structure, so in terms of the structure before this new one, right, everyone would be occupying the position as per the structure being the divisional head, Asset Protection Services.
Before June, the position existed?
Of divisional head, Asset Protection Services, not Deputy Chief of Police.
Okay.
So, Mr. Malatji, the person then that you are accusing of corruption cannot be, in this case of appointment, of this structure issue, must be the Chief of Police then, and whoever else approved that structure. It can't be Deputy Commissioner Spies, because he doesn't create the structure. He's not the boss of the TMPD, and he's not the boss of the municipality. So the corruption that you're speaking of, if it is corruption at all, it has to be the Chief of Police. Is that what you're alleging?
Commissioner, you are correct to say it cannot be Commissioner Revo Spies if there is indeed corruption. It could be those who came up, right, with the new structure, right, which would include the Chief of Police and, yes, which would include the Chief of Police and whoever they were working on the issue of structures around it.
No, somebody is responsible for approving the structure. Forget who comes up with it. Someone bears the power to approve the structure. And it's either the chief of police is the one that carries the final say on approving the structure, or it's the city manager, or it's the council. One of the three must be the person, sorry, must be the person or the body that approves the structure. It's not, can we agree, it's not Deputy Commissioner Spies?
Yes,
He doesn't determine the structure, right? Then that leaves his boss, because he reports to somebody. So it's either you're saying, and I think to the extent that you are making a very definite allegation of corruption. You're saying there was no structure, it was created to accommodate him. You should, I think you can't get away with saying, well, probably. You have to say who it is, do you say, is guilty of that corruption? And I'm giving you three possible, that in my opinion is one of the three. Okay. You can add another one if you have somebody else in mind. But I'm saying to you, it's either the boss of the TMPD, because it's her structure, and that's the person you're saying is corrupt, and that they created this position. Two, it's either it is the city manager, if the city manager has the power to approve, or the authority to approve a TMPD structure, I don't know how it works, or it's the council, if that is the ultimate authority for approving a structure. So you've made the allegation, which of the three are you accusing of that corruption? Because if we have to follow up a trail of corruption, that there's corrupt activity about the structure, we have to know who you're speaking about and who to speak to. So it's one of the three. You can add a fourth one if there is.
All right. Commissioner, I think the Commission can inquire on the basis of my statement to the accounting officer, being the city manager. From where I'm sitting, I think he bears the responsibility.
So you are saying the city manager is guilty of the corruption because he's the one that bears the responsibility to approve a structure for TMPD. That's what you're saying.
I am saying that, but in the same breath, I'm also including those who might have submitted the structure to him for approval.
And it would have been submitted by the head of the TMPD, right?
Exactly.
So you are saying the head of this TMPD and or the head of the city are corrupt in that one of them approved the structure specifically created to accommodate Commissioner Spies. That's what you're saying. And I ask this so directly, Mr. Malatji, because we cannot allow, or we shouldn't allow this platform to be used to malign people's reputations without facts. You are making the statement, you haven't put to us the facts that back up that, and I hear your explanation why you say that this was created. You say there was no such position before. You explained that civilian, you're saying the position should not be under the police. I hear that, all of that explanation. But you are making a very specific allegation, which may well amount to criminality, which is one of the things we are supposed to investigate. So it is important that if you are alleging corruption in the specific terms that you're doing, that you should be pressed to say who, in fact, are you saying is the corrupt person in this equation?
Commissioner, I understand what the Commissioner is saying. In my statement, I'm saying I am suspicious that Mr. Spies was appointed through a corrupt, irregular recruitment process. I am suspicious. So I am not definitely saying somebody is corrupt. I am saying I am suspicious given the process. I will say this to the Commissioner. In the run-up to when Commissioner Spies was appointed, right, there were advertisements of the position. And in those advertisements of the position, the city.
Can we please confine this to the question being asked? The question is about the actors. Was it the chief of police? Was it the city manager? Was it council? Or can you think of more other people? That's the question. Please confine your response to that direct question.
My suspicion is on
If you don't know, you don't know.
I will confine my.
I'm not saying you don't. You seem to hesitate when I say if you don't know, you don't. No, I'm not suggesting that you don't know. If you know, by all means, tell us.
My suspicion is confined to allegations of corruption are confined to, in as far as this position and approval of what it calls, to both the city manager and the chief of police.
Thank you.
Let me take you back to the issue I engaged you on. You have said there was no problem with the position, therefore, I assume no problem with the advert as well. Before, at the time the advert went out. But you say it's only in June that there is a problem. And we know that Mr. Revo Spies was appointed with effect from 1 March 2025. So the problem arises from June 2025. He's already within the system, correct? That's how I understood you in my earlier engagement with you.
Okay. Let me put the correct perspective of what I said.
Yes.
There was a problem right from the beginning when the position was advertised, right? The problem was, when I looked at the appointment requirements, it became very clear to me that these appointment requirements are earmarking specific individual.
No, let's look at the allegation you make.
Okay.
I'm engaging you on the basis of the allegation you are making in paragraph 33.2.
Okay.
You are saying this was not in the structure. My understanding, based on the responses you gave when I engaged you,
Yes.
was that there was no issue, no question about this position being in the structure before June. So this is about the structure. It's not about how it was framed, whether it was framed to make sure that Commissioner Spies would be the person that gets appointed. That's not the issue. The issue is about what you say in 33.2. The fact that this was not accommodated in the structure. So what I'm saying is, with regard to that issue, I understood you to say that the problem with the structure arose from June 2025, but before that, there was no problem, insofar as the structure was concerned.
Because the structure, Commissioner, was different. The structure of the TMPD before June was the Divisional Head Asset Protection Services. Now, he got appointed whilst the structure was talking to Divisional Head. And it was only in June that the structure was changed and got approved. So the point I'm trying to put to the Commissioner is...
The position advertised, was it not the position that existed in accordance with the structure before June?
No, it was not. The position that existed prior the advertisement, right, was the Divisional Head Asset Protection Services, not Deputy Chief Asset Protection Services.
Divisional head.
Yes.
And Mr. Bolhayes was acting as divisional head.
I take it that he was acting in the in the position of the divisional head. Hence, he was already appointed as deputy chief responsible for training and all of that. But it was not with Mr. Place. It was not a problem because there was no.
He was already a deputy chief.
Exactly.
And some others.
So he came into act, and hence I took it. I'm saying, putting it to the Commission that when he acted, he was acting in the position of Divisional Head Asset Protection Services, not the Deputy Chief of Police Asset Protection Services.
All right, thank you. Please proceed to 33.3.
I am suspicious that he is not registered with SIRA, which is a requirement for any person appointed to perform, supervise, manage private security services. Again, I am making a suspicion, and with this in mind, I hope if the Commission looks into this, right, it would either find facts to say indeed he is registered with SIRA or is not registered with SIRA. Hence, I'm saying I am suspicious that he's not.
Why do you suspect that he's not registered with SIRA?
I suspect...
Because a suspicion has to be reasonable, it has to be based on some fact.
Okay. When the advert that for which Mr. Speed has responded and ultimately appointed, it made the following as appointment requirements: registration as a traffic officer, appointment as a Metro Police officer, right? And yes, SIRA, but these were two key factors that I took note of. Why would the city make registration as a traffic officer and appointment as a Metro Police officer an appointment requirement for the position of for the position in security management? And I therefore drew a conclusion that they are making this, the city is making this appointment requirement because they are well aware that there are security professionals out there who would obviously develop interest into the position and apply.
Let me interrupt you. My question is, what do you know about Deputy Commissioner Spies, about him? I'm not asking you a general question because you're making a specific allegation about him. So my question is, what do you know, what are the facts that you know about him that lead you to suspect that he does not have SIRA registration? It's really that simple. Do you know any facts at all about him, or it's just a feeling that he may not be registered?
I do not know any fact. It's just a feeling. The feeling is based on how the requirements for appointment were designed.
Okay. All right, now answered. Thank you.
Director Malatji, having worked with SIRA before, as far as I know, if you are a police officer or a member of the Metro Police, you don't fall under SIRA jurisdiction because you are not regarded as private security sector. You are in public security, not in private security. So I struggle to understand the point you are making in 33.3. If you work for the Metro Police, you are not supervising and managing private security services because the public security is public, it's not private security. So I don't understand the point you're trying to make in 33.3. And if this is your suspicion and it's not based on fact, it's really not helpful because we can contact SIRA and ask them what the position is and they can clarify it for us.
Commissioner, thanks very much.
Because it's like saying Ball Hayes should not have been acting in that position because he's not registered with SIRA. But if you're a Metro Police, you don't need a SIRA registration.
My understanding of what the law says, even though I'm not a lawyer, is as follows. The SIRA Act is very clear to the effect that if you are not registered as a security service provider, you should not be allowed to perform, supervise, or manage. It goes further to say, unless you are employed in security services as contemplated in Section 199 of the Constitution. And when one goes to Section 199 of the Constitution, the answer is very clear. Security services as contemplated in Section 199 of the Constitution, they are members of the South African Police Service. They are the National Defence Force. They are the state security agencies. The Act says they are, in terms of the law, they can perform, supervise, manage security operations only when they are still in the employ of their respective institutions. In this instance, I want to put my understanding before the Commission of this, that Metro Police officers are not members of the South African Police Service, right? Metro Police officers are not SNDF members as per Section 199, nor employees of the state security agency.
Can we leave it here? We will make an inquiry with SIRA and get the answer from them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a last question on this? These issues that you have in paragraph 33, these suspicions, have you raised and reported them to the city for investigation? The question about your suspicion about these qualifications, the question about the structure, and the SIRA registration.
Commissioner, I raised issue of the SIRA with the Office of the Chief of Police.
Is that in writing?
That was in writing long before Commissioner Spies could be appointed. But in that correspondence, I was saying, asking a question, why would appointment requirements for a senior manager in security management environment?
Yeah, my question is more specific to Commissioner Spies, because you are making these allegations about him.
Okay.
So my question is, all three suspicions that you have listed here, have you lodged with the city a concern, whether it's a grievance, whether it's a complaint, in whatever form? Have you lodged any of the three items here with the city so that the city investigates it? Because if you have lodged them, and we would have to hear from the city what they have done with them since you lodged these three concerns.
Since his appointment, I have not. The only correspondence I made was prior to his appointment, and then this appointment gave rise to what I was complaining about. And until today, I sat back and say, okay, fine. Even if I'm going to, even if I'm going to lodge a grievance or a complaint, right? As much as they did not deem it fit to respond to my correspondence in the past, right? From where I'm sitting, they wouldn't even entertain it now.
So the short answer is you haven't lodged a grievance, a complaint, or a report about Commissioner Spies as it relates to the three suspicions that you have listed in the statement.
Correct.
In short. Okay, thank you.
Paragraph 34. Or have you read it? Please read the paragraph 34.
I've listened to the allegations raised by Commissioner Spies about me, which were presented to the court. I disagree and dispute this allegation, dispute these allegations in this regard. If my memory still serves me well, generally, Commissioner Spies informed the Commission that I was not complying to instructions, I was not working well with him, and so forth and so on. So I wanted to put it to the Commission that it is not true that I was not complying with his instructions where it is supposed to, right? It might have happened that I missed one or two, and the Commission should not take it that I missed that instruction because I did not work with him. I complied with many of his instructions, and yes, where I happened not to, it was not deliberate, because otherwise I would be guilty of not taking my work seriously. But it happens in life that sometimes somewhere there you happen not to do things. But generally, I have complied with instructions that were given to me by Commissioner Spies, despite the differences that I've alluded to. So I came to a point where I realized, okay, fine, there's no way I can be regard myself over and above the organization. This organization is about the community, meaning if I'm to do what is in the best interest of serving the community of Tswane, I would do that regardless of the differences that I might have with colleagues here and there. So my commitment is that. That is why, Commissioner, I'm sitting here, it's for 10 months, almost 10 months on suspension, getting a salary, and I'm very much guilty of getting paid, right, for so long without doing anything to benefit the city and or the community of Tswane. I'm sitting here receiving a salary for 10 months without doing anything. But with me, I need the commissioner to note this. It is not for the first time. In 2017 to 2019, right? Fortunately, back then, I was not suspended. They just took me out of the position, right? Gave it to someone else and continued to pay me a salary, right? Without me doing anything. And back then I was My heart was very sore, but I couldn't do a thing until I took the matter through grievance process, CCMA, and I was awarded.
You were placed back in your position.
Back into
At what stage is the disciplinary process now?
Commissioner, since my suspension in July, we never sat in a hearing and start. I've not pleaded, right? Every now and then they would postpone, right? It was last time that we then applied for the dismissal of the charges because seemingly the employer is not.
Has there been no decision on that thus far, on that application?
There is no decision. We are going back on the 24th of this month. We will hear the decision then.
All right, all right. Anything else, Mr. Malatji?
No, I don't have any comment. If this is to say we are coming to the end of my presence today, right, my comment would only be to thank the Commission for affording me an opportunity to come and share with the Commission these things that I have been going through all this. Thank you.
Anything else, Mrs. Katana?
Yes, Chair. There's just 2 or 3. I know 2 or 3 issues and then I'm done. Apologies.